How's it going, everybody? And welcome back to another Tech Support Thursday, Ticket 4. It's actually working out pretty well. So, today, I wanted to cover some, as you can see, my phone is going off. We're going to go ahead and talk about some of the questions that were asked, and all of a sudden people want to try to talk to me. So, a couple of really cool things happened over the past week. A few weeks ago, a gentleman that watches a YouTube channel commented on some videos that I had put out there, and we got together. And last week I recorded, or I should say, a few weeks ago I recorded a basically kind of like a podcast episode with him, and we titled it "How the DoD Department of Defense Determines How IT Systems Are Secured," and it's what they refer to as stigging a system. So it actually did really well. I'm hoping to do that kind of stuff in the future, where it's more of a where I'm not the main person talking about a particular topic, so I can bring somebody on the channel, and we can, if there's a topic that you would like to talk about, and I don't really care what it is, as long as it's like technically related, that's fine, because that's the genre of the channel. I'd love to sit down and have an hour and a half conversation with you, and we can talk about whatever the technology is, and I will be the dumb guest, or the dumb host that doesn't know anything about it. Even if I am a subject matter expert in that particular area, I will always default to you because you're the guest. We'll talk about stuff. So it was actually a lot of fun to do the video and the episode with him. So yeah, Tom Major is an awesome guy. Definitely somebody that I look up to and all that good stuff. So a lot of people were really a lot of really good feedback on it. So it did really well. Got a lot of views. So I think I'm going to continue to do that type of stuff. So this is kind of an open curtain call. If anybody, any of my viewers, subscribed or not, and you want to come on the channel and we can talk, send me a message on, comment on this video, or tweet me at Riker Rob on Twitter. Be like, hey, I'd love to be on the channel. We can sit down and talk about whatever, and go through that. So yeah, if anybody's interested in doing that, hit me up. There were not a lot of questions this week, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be action packed, and we can talk a little bit about some of the other stuff that's going on instead of IT, and kind of like generate some questions and like, what do you guys think about this, or what do you think about that type of stuff. So some comments on some of the videos that I've been doing for VMware. VMware is actually doing really well. Pardon me, I have this nagging cough and I don't feel like blowing out your eardrums. So I got a comment on SD-WAN 1. I like how you can spend a couple months studying and teach the material. That's a level of proficiency to strive for. Well, the one thing that you have to understand is if you assume that I am only spending a couple of months learning something and then I feel confident going over it, not the case. I usually spend several months learning something before I feel comfortable teaching it. I'm no one special. I spend a lot of time going over the technology and stuff like that. So it's one of those things where as I'm diving into how something works, the more comfortable I feel dealing with it, the better off I am. So for example, there are multiple times where I don't remember how something works, or I have to go review a video or read up on something before I can record a video, because I want to be technically accurate in my delivery. So those are some of the things that to keep in mind. Is most of the time the stuff isn't coming off the top of my head. It's reviewed, it's researched, it's okay, that's right, I forgot how to do that. Or I actually will go through the lab first, I'll blow everything away, and then I'll redo it with you guys in the video. Or I should say, record a video for you guys, and you'll get that information. So it's fresh, it's clean. I know the exact sequence of clicks or the exact configuration commands to type in. So I do that a lot, actually, because this way here, it's fresh in the memory banks, right? I just went over it. So don't let me mislead you in any way, thinking that I only study something once and boom, I'm good to go. That is not the case. So got a comment on Tech Support Thursday Ticket 2 when I passed the VCAP exam. Just passed the VCP data center virtualization exam. Congratulations to you on passing that. Looking to press on to VCAP when it's possible, ultimately with the end goal of VCDX. Only 26 and looking to accomplish it to the fullest. Well, hey, I admire your commitment to getting finished with that. There was a couple of people asked me questions on whether I'm going to go after BCDX, and the answer is no. I will not be going after BCDX. I don't see the return on the investment for doing that. The last time I checked, it was about a $5,000 commitment to go through, and the amount of effort that's required and the efforts that you have to go through, you basically have to act as if you're an architect and develop some sort of solution and have all the supporting documents for it like an architect would, and then go and you have to defend it. And to be honest with you, I don't see the upside to that. I would say I'm more of the, I don't want to sit in front of a panel of people and get my design ripped apart. It's just not, I'm like, and go get certified in that. I just, that doesn't appeal to me. So I will go after some other design exams that are out there. I would love to go get this the Cisco Certified Design Professional, that specialization. But right now, my goal is I've pushed my VCAP deploy back a little bit because I'm working through labbing up a lot of the different features as I'm going along and getting comfortable with doing them, so that when it comes time to actually go and do them in the VCAP deploy exam, if I need to go out and do something, I'm comfortable doing it. I'm trying to take my VMware skills and try to bring them up to the level that I think I need to be at. And the VCAP deploy exam that for the people that the blogs that I've read and the videos that I've watched regarding it, it's a difficult exam. So I don't want to go in there with, to me, I would hate to go into the exam and just get a passing score, like a 300 or a 315 or 320, because that to me is still, the score is too low. To me, a 400 is what I target for VMware exams, because then that's 80% is the way I look at it. That's an 80%. Where if you get 300, that's like a C. And to me, it's, if you're going to be getting certified and spending that kind of money on something, you want to get a good score. And that's how I look at it. So that is my goal with how that's going to work. Let me back this up a little bit and whoops. A couple more comments on the passing VPN 300/730 exam. Hey man, the tip of hey, thank you. The tip of telling me to debug the routers and ASAs helped me out. Without me labbing up my VPNs and debugging the tunnels being set up and purposely breaking different parts of the configurations helped me out. I probably wouldn't have passed without your tip. I passed, but I definitely need to go back over AnyConnect and clientless SSL VPN. I need more lab time and white page reading and experience with those technologies. Thank you for your inspiration and motivation. Congrats on passing, first and foremost. I know that's not an easy exam. And yeah, the advice I gave was, if you're going after the VPN exam, you need to debug a lot of the processes. Just turn debugging on and logging for everything that you're going to do on the VPN exam, and go crush it, because that's basically what you need to go do. And test as many variations of the config out. That was what helped me get over that hump. So good stuff there. So I'm glad that my tips and suggestions and advice was taken and was useful for you. So there was a comment made on several videos around SD-WAN by I'm believing that this person might be Russian or Ukrainian. I'm not 100% sure, but their name is looks like it's in Cyrillic, which is what I believe Russian and Ukrainian, their alphabet would be. I used to work with some Russians and some Ukrainian folks and I recognize the characters from that. And basically the question was, they wanted to get access to the initial configurations. So if you are going after the SD-WAN exam and you're watching the videos that I created for SD-WAN, and you want to go through and download the Eve topology and the initial configurations for the routers and the switches, then when you become a member of the channel, underneath the premium content option, there's a link in there. You click on that link, you open up SD-WAN, it's all right there. The initial configurations are all right there. You copy and paste them into your router. There will be some initial configurations, and I walk you through all the steps and through the videos. So there's no there's no thing there isn't anything that you need to go learn how to go do in terms of getting something to work, because I walk you through the steps throughout the video. It's a build from the ground up is basically what I'm doing. So there's that. So if you are looking for the initial configs and you're looking for the topology file, that's all there. There's also another comment of somebody, and this particular person got extremely argumentative with me on the channel, so I ended up just booting him off the channel because I don't deal with negativity on the channel. I have no problem answering questions or getting feedback and maybe doing something a little bit differently. But if you're going to sit there and be just negative, I just flush you down the toilet where you belong, because negative people, I don't have time for you. And the question was based around if I was ever going to finish the Encore and an RC series for CCNP, and eventually I will. But the problem with that is it takes a lot of effort to do those videos, and it got to the point where as I was going through them, I just lost the motivation. Simple as that. I know other people are working towards their Encore and their NRC exam, and there's a lot of other folks out there that have created content. There's training vendors that have created content. So if you're waiting on me to do it, don't hold your breath. It's not going to be coming anytime soon. I want to finish it, but to be honest with you, I got to a certain point and it's just like I'm just lost the motivation and the drive to do it, and other things became that I wanted to go do personally just have taken over. Simple as that. So VMware has been a big one, as you guys have seen lately. I would love to dive into other areas we talked about in previous sessions. So my goal right now is just to knock out VMware, get better at it, and at some point in the future, then circle back and knock out the Encore. But right now, not the top priority for me. A comment made on SD-WAN 1. Welcome to Next Gen Networking. Hi Rob, first of all, thank you for the great content. I would really appreciate if you could tell hardware you are using to run the Eve on, also the requirements for deploying such topology. Can you also share how you went about getting the images for each device? So the hardware is a Cisco UCS C220 M3 with E5 2660 CPUs. So they're 8 cores. There's 2 CPUs, which gives you 16 logical cores. Hyper-threaded gives you 32. And 256 gigs of RAM. That's the underlying server. And then from there, the last time I checked, you need to have a Cisco service account for Viptela, and you need to be able to download those from Cisco's website. And you might be able to find them on the internet somewhere, but I would be cautious when I do that. I was able to download mine directly from Cisco and import them. I used 18.4 for that. So that's basically how that comes into play. There was a question that came in actually yesterday, and it says, how to do capacity planning of ESXi hosts. Say I want to provision 50 Win 10 desktops with 2 CPUs and 4 gigs of RAM. So I did respond to this and talked about capacity planning calculators. There are calculators out there that will help you figure out what you need. And I did a quick Google search. There's a bunch of them that popped up right away. So that's what I think you should go through and do. But at the end of the day, it's one of those things where if you're trying to do things a certain way, my response to him was actually multiple hosts, and that only comes because of the fact that I went through the VCAP design exam, and I'm thinking, okay, if I was actually to go to deploy 50 Win 10 desktops, so there's multiple ways that you can do that, but the bottom line is you're probably going to need more than one host. You're probably going to need 3 or 4 or 5 of them to provide high availability, and depending on which one of those Win 10 desktops are more required than others, you might enable fault tolerance on them, or proactive HA or predictive HA, depending on how HA you need it. You could also deploy VMware Horizon View and have instant clone replication through that. I haven't talked about any of that stuff on the channel yet. As a matter of fact, it's one of the things that I'm actually looking at learning here in the very near future in more detail. But you're going to need a capacity planning calculator and figure out what you need. Just out of the gate, you're talking 50 Win 10 desktops and 2 CPUs per. So that you're talking with 2 CPUs and 4 gigs of RAM. In other words, you're going to need a 2 CPU minimum and 4 gigs of RAM. But you didn't specify how strong the CPU is. So maybe you need 2 gigahertz as a reservation and 4 gigs as a reservation. And maybe you want to limit that to, say, let's say 2 CPUs if you're dealing with 2 gigahertz of pop, or 2 gigahertz CPU to associate 2 CPUs. That's going to be 4 gigahertz. So maybe you put that as a limit. So you put a minimum and a maximum on your resources that you're associating. You're going to need more than one host for sure, because you're looking at 100 CPUs right there, and there are platforms out there that will get you there, but they're really expensive. So to me, instead of buying one really big beefy server, I'd buy multiple smaller servers, and then you'd be able to load balance across them and then go that route. Question on, I passed the vSphere 6.7 VCP exam. The question is it a requirement to pass 6.7 before you take version 7? The answer to that question is no. It is not a requirement, although it is a good idea, because a lot of the stuff that 6.7 supports, even 6.5 and 6.0, 6.0 does a lot of the 6.0 is where I really got into the meat and taters of VMware, and then from there I've learned 6.5 and 6.7, and then 7.0 adds in some advanced features like Kubernetes and or K8s, things like that, and which I believe they were for containers, and they also had the ability of doing Tanzu, which I think is containers. So that's just some of the stuff that it wouldn't hurt to go through it, but not a requirement. But a lot of the stuff that, if you've never dove into VMware before, I would recommend you taking a ICM, the Install Config Manage series, and going through that so that you'd be able to at least get kickstarted with that process. So you're definitely going to need a baseline before you start getting into 7 and lapping it all up for sure. Another question on Palo Alto Networks PCNSA passed. How long did you study for PCNSA? I studied for Palo for about a month and a half, I think. And I was fortunate to be able to gain access to the Pan OS, install it inside of Eve, and play around with it. And a lot of the cool features weren't available because I didn't have licensing. So I used just basically the network infrastructure components, and I read and watched some videos. So it's kind of funny, about that same point in time, this was back in, that was probably longer than that. It was probably 2 months, I think. 2 months of consistent studies. But when I mean consistent, it means that it was like I was studying a couple of hours every day on it, but not, and then maybe a couple hours on the weekends. I wasn't like 30 hours a week. I mean, I wasn't anywhere near that deep. I'd say probably 10 hours a week, and then over the course of 5 or 6, 7 weeks. So it took probably 70 hours to go through the material, and that's labbing stuff up and getting comfortable with it. The thing with Palo is because I didn't have licensing, a lot of the advanced features didn't work. Some of the filtering did, like routing worked, VPN worked for site-to-site. Global Protect remote access didn't work. There was some other stuff that I tested out that didn't work, but if it didn't work, I didn't put it up on the channel, that type of stuff. So I went through their free training. I took all their free training that was available, and then I went over to I bought a month-long subscription from CBT Nuggets and went through their Palo Alto course, and that was pretty good. And that between the free training that Palo Alto provides and then CBT Nuggets and then labbing the stuff up, that was enough for me to be able to pass PCNSA. And there was a couple of topics that I didn't cover in super deep detail because I already understood role-based access control and that type of stuff. So I barely passed PCNSA. So I would say that you probably need a couple of solid months to study it, and make sure you read all the documentation, watch the videos, take notes on stuff so you understand how it all works before you go through the process of trying to take the exam, because the exam is just multiple questions or multiple choice questions. So just make sure you have covered the topics as deep as you need to. And that's pretty much it, folks. Pretty good responses, pretty good feedback this past week, and all that good stuff that goes along with it. So it's good. There's some comments on ticket 3 about how people are going to go through the SD-WAN exam and all that good stuff that goes along with it. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is pretty much it for Tech Support Thursday ticket number 4. If there is a particular topic or question that you would like to me to dive into on here and do the AMA, ask me anything, leave it in the comment section below, and I will do my best to try to answer those questions. I'll pull it up on my phone and we'll go through them. And for the questions that just came in today, I will go ahead and provide answers for those people directly in the chat or in the comment section. I try to do my best to respond to people and all that good stuff. But like I said at the beginning of the video, if you are somebody that would like to come on the channel, and I'll send you a Zoom link, we'll get on a Zoom call and we'll sit there and talk about technology. I will be a dumb host and pretend like I know nothing about whatever it is you're talking about, and then we'll go through and talk about the technology. You'll be the subject matter expert, and you'll be able to talk about this stuff as in detail as you'd like. So hopefully I get some feedback on that, kind of a podcast style. No like definite schedule, because it's like one of those things where it's like I got pretty good reviews on it and people liked it. So you know what? If you like it, we can do it again. It's funny because during the summertime, we go, the family and I go up north to a place called the Wisconsin Dells. It's about a 2-hour drive from where I live. And one of the things that's there on the water is the Tommy Bartlett water and ski show. So they've got, the water ski, and they've got the boats, and they do air acrobatics and stuff. And they have an act that's been done, and when people clap and cheer for something he does, he goes, "Oh, okay. Well, guess what?" He's like, "You like it? I do it again." So yeah, I'm basically stealing that line. Good stuff. So until next time, guys, stay safe out there. Keep studying, and until next time, guys, take her easy.